First up, we have Nexomon Extinction. It might seem weird to start my review here, but I have to talk about my favorite part, the humor. Every chance Nexomon gets, it goes for a laugh, and no one brings them more than Coco. Your random cat companion who's not a Nexomon or maybe is, Coco always has a snarky one-liner cocked and loaded. For example, when you defeat your first tyrant, an ultra-powerful Nexomon, it runs away. Instead of chasing after it, a grown-up decides to let it go. Coco's response to this baffling choice? It eats people. I honestly can't think of the last time I've laughed this much in a video game. For the right reasons, at least. Whether it's the snarky one-liners or fourth wall breaking, Extinction does an amazing job at letting you just enjoy the story. And what a story it is. I won't get too much into it, but essentially, instead of living in a peaceful world, Extinction sees Nexomon warring against each other with humans caught in the middle. Powerful Nexomon, called tyrants, are constantly attacking, and humanity only has a few safe places to live. Yes, the writers do break the fourth wall and mention Attack on Titan. To help protect humanity from those tyrants, tamers can join the guild and complete quests. There's several more layers to the story than that, I just wanted to give you a small taste. If Nexomon Extinction was just a story and had bland gameplay to go along with it, I probably would have kept using my fingers to bring it to completion just to see what happened. But they did a really good job copying Pokemon. While the walking controls are a bit floatier than I would have liked, this is Pokemon as you remember it. And by that I mean any Pokemon game pre-Switch, though Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl still fit the bill. You walk around, battle other tamers, and catch wild Nexomon in the shaking grass using Nexo Traps. While in those battles, you choose from one of 4 moves, gain experience, level up, and evolve at certain levels. Yes, Nexomon is very much a Pokemon clone at its core. One of the biggest differences between Pokemon and Nexomon is that there's no gyms. You don't start in a small town and try to collect badges. Instead, Nexomon goes for missions. You have your story missions and side quests. It was a little weird at first having freedom in Extinction. I just became so accustomed to having my hand held by Pokemon games that when I was finally given the chance to explore the world without too many restrictions, I felt lost. Once I adjusted though, I really began to enjoy Extinction. It was so nice to essentially rediscover the joy of a monster battling game. With Pokemon, I feel like everything's spoiled before I get my hands on it. With Nexomon, I had to relearn everything, and each brand new encounter led me to seeing a new Nexomon. That's because there's 381 of them. Yeah, that's way too much by about 200. And there's only 9 elements, so there's a lot of monsters that look different but really aren't. After choosing my starter from one of 9 options, it was simply a matter of catching new Nexomon to fill out my team. Along with lowering Nexomon health, you can also throw food to increase your chances of catching them, and even when you do that, the percentage is still fairly low. And when you do chuck a Nexo Trap, instead of holding B and praying, there's a quick time event where you have to push buttons in the correct sequence. It's just a nice little touch Nexomon adds to the mix. Now, compared to something like Sword and Shield, Extinction is difficult, and I appreciated it. For starters, there's no forced experience share. I became so accustomed to it that I forgot I'd need to put Nexomon into battle to earn experience. That being said, you can equip your Nexomon with things called cores. These allow you to increase your stats or, yes, even spread around some experience without the Nexomon seeing battle. It's far more balanced than the Oprah style of experience that Pokemon hands out though. I don't know if it was because my Nexomon were under-leveled or because the game levels up with you, but towards the end, my guys were about 5 levels under everyone else's. So if you can complete the game without grinding and without using items in battle, you'll be a god. Whereas in Pokemon, battle items make an easy game even easier, in Nexomon you have to heal and try to inflict status effects to simply give yourself a chance. One of my pet peeves with Pokemon is how you'll enter a new area, fight 10 trainers, and they all just have 1 or 2 Pokemon. In Nexomon, there's 1 or 2 tamers in each area, and they'll likely have 4 or 5 Nexomon on their team. And you'll end up losing a few of your Nexomon in the battle. Switching is highly recommended, and your opponent will switch out multiple times if it's deemed necessary for them as well. And unlike Pokemon, your opponent might start with their strongest Nexomon, or if the battle is going a certain way, they might switch into their best early. It definitely adds to the stress level. And you know that one crazy boss battle in Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon? Well, Nexomon will throw boss battles at you regularly. It can be quite daunting when everyone on your team has 150 HP, but the Nexomon you're fighting has 600 hit points. To touch on the battles a little further, they're much faster than Pokemon. Thanks to the mobile-like setup in battle, the text telling you what each Nexomon does happens below while the battle happens above. Actions happen near instantly, and there's no lag or waiting for the camera to recenter. And to add to the strategy, your PP is replaced with stamina, and moves have speed same as your Nexomon. So you can't just spam your best move 15 times and sweep an opponent. Plus, most moves have a certain chance to deal critical damage or inflict status conditions. There's a lot going on at all times with Nexomon, though it never felt too overwhelming. It's not all Sunflora and Ho-Ohs with Nexomon Extinction though. There's nearly 400 Nexomon in the game, but only 9 types, and dual types don't exist. With Pokemon, dual types help cover weaknesses and create more variety. With Nexomon, I'd see a new one of a type already in my party and wouldn't care to catch it. There just isn't enough distinction aside from design. Nexomon don't have abilities either, just attack, defense, and speed stats, so a lot of your choices will solely depend on design. Of course, certain Nexomon are inherently stronger than others, but it's not as obvious who is more useful. I honestly stuck with my original team for most of the journey. I also had issues with the world design. When you use a warp stone to travel to a previously visited destination, there's no indicator of what's available in that town. You don't know if there's a special merchant or if there's any active quest in the area. On top of that, there's no signposts. While Pokemon may feel handholdy at times with people and signs constantly pointing you in the right direction, here you're just told to go east or west, but there might be forks in the road along the way and you just have to guess. Plus, important places and cities are spread too far apart. With Pokemon, you know the Pokemon Center is going to be in a central location. Here, it could be anywhere. Same with the merchants and any other people of interest. Now, I know what you're thinking. If the Earth is flat, the edge of the planet would be the most popular tourist destination. And you're right. While the graphics in Nexomon are nowhere near as good as Pokemon Legends Arceus, I would argue that they're better than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Maybe it's the fact that I was expecting more from BDSM, but Nexomon's art style really grew on me. It allows for brighter colors, and having the characters appear in full form during cutscenes really helps with the immersion. In terms of length, Nexomon took me 18 hours to beat. I wouldn't say I was speedrunning, but I never really did side quests. Still, 18 hours is more than something like Sword and Shield, despite what IGN would have you believe. After the credits roll, you can complete some side quests to capture legendary Nexomon, but that's about it. One really great feature included with Extinction is the Randomizer Mode. If you start a new game and create a custom one, you can choose to randomize a whole whack of different options. It's just a nice feature they decided to add considering so many people play Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke, yet Nintendo doesn't officially support them. So is Nexomon Extinction the best Pokemon clone on Nintendo Switch? It's definitely up there. However, there is a game I recommend more than Nexomon coming up in a little bit. What I can say is that Nexomon Extinction is an easy recommendation for Pokemon fans looking for a bit of a challenge. Plus, while it lacks some of the depth a Pokemon game has, the writing and story more than make up for it. If you were disappointed by Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and want a game to scratch your balls, this is it.